Hello everyone, welcome to class of Research in Education and Language Learning. For this video, you are going to learn more about the types of research design, ethical issues, skills needed to conduct research, and the research problem and its justification, as well as research purpose, hypothesis, and research questions. In the end, there are some parts that is you are going to write the research problems, which is a kind of hands-on activities. So let's see the types of research design. In education, there are different kinds of research design that can be used. Some here are the common one. The first is correlational design. It's a kind of quantitative design. Look for the correlation or relationship of several variables or different factors. And then the second one is in ethnographic design. This focus more for the phenomenon that, let's say, focus for monitoring process of certain phenomenon from time to time. The third one is the narrative research design. This is a kind of research that focus more to telling a story of a certain community or, let's say, certain issue. While experimental design is different from the one usually for science field. This one is for social. That means the one that get the experiment is the people, in this case, if in education, meaning the students. And then action research is the research that mainly conduct to solve the problems in a real, for example, in education, in the real class. And then mixed method design is a combination of quantitative and qualitative. The difference between action and mixed is mixed method design is actually more rigorous than action research. Let's move to the important ethical issues that needed to be considered. So in conducting research, there are several important issues here. The first is you have to obtain the permission from review boards or professional association before able to conduct the research. And there are some ethical issue that you have to consider here is about during the research process. Let's say considering the identity or the safety or the confidentiality of the data and the sample, or let's say the participants here. Sometimes they get exposed, so how to make sure that they're not exposed, their identity are not exposed later. So that means that you have to consider how to protect the data, how to protect your sample. These are in us ethical issue of data collection, data reporting as well, and report the real information or real data and not the makeup one. Now, let's see the skills that needed to design and conduct research, and try to see if you have to learn this or you have to prepare yourself with these skills. The first is ability to identify the missing puzzles to solve the problems or to solve the puzzles. Here it can be learned by looking from different academic articles that already published and see from different, let's say, research which one is still missing, and then how your own research will fit the gap. And the second is the ability to pay attention, because this is a daunting task. You need to work alone for a longer time, focus not only for readings, but when you collect your data and then you do the analysis on your own and then writing up the result. And the next is the ability to use the resources available either in a library or internet efficiently. Probably also the other skill that you need to use is the ability to use some software to manage your resource from, let's say, 1,000 or 100 of articles. For example, how to use the right keywords, how to use, let's say, software such as Medley or EndNote or Zotero to help you organize the articles and to help you find easily access different articles that you need when you are writing. Next is the ability to write and edit on your own, because no one will help you. Actually, you yourself who understand your topic and who knows the ideas from the beginning to the end. So it's better for you to know how to write in a concise way, in a good organization, to help your audience or your readers follow your ideas easily, and how to edit on your own before finally and do proofreading before finally submit that. Now let's come to how to identify the research problem. So in identifying the research problem, you can find it from educational issues that are common around you in this time. For example, the impact of COVID-19 on education, or the one that's controversial and gain concern from, let's say, stakeholders in education, and it's a worth it one to be investigated. You also can get from different sources, for example, from the expert. That means from different articles that you read from different journals, and then the experiences in your workplace or learning. You can use your own experience as well, or from your observation around you. Research problem usually in a article is in the first paragraph. So this one contains, the first paragraph usually contains the topic and the research problem. So when you choose to decide certain problems, please consider the access. Is it accessible for you to reach out the people to go to the site? And then for the time, is it sufficient for you during the time available? For example, in this class might be only 3 months or 6 months. And then the resources, do you have all the resources, and is it sufficient? For example, the laptop or the other facilities needed, and probably recording if you need that. And then the skills, like I mentioned before, the ability to write, or let's say to run certain analysis of the data. Now let's move to the research problem. There are some important things that you need to pay attention to see how they are different, because many students probably cannot differentiate that the difference between research problem, research purpose, and research questions. So this is the example. Distant learning is the topic probably, but when come to the research problems, then it might be like lack of student in distance education classes. So here, if you see this one, this is the topic, but then when you come here in the second one, the lack of the students, that means while it's still focused for distant education classes, but it's been already lack of students. That means that few students enroll in distance learning class. So the researcher probably want to see why few students enroll, not many. And then when come to this, then this is the purpose. Notice the purpose. You start with the word to. Or you can use the word if you want to write down your research purpose. The main aim or the purpose of this research is to study why students do not attend distance education classes. So please pay attention to this word, to study, and then the paraphrasing. Why students do not attend distance education. Pay attention to this word, do not attend. And then community college. College here meaning that it's different institution, not university, not schools, and not let's say junior high school or the other type of education institution, but it's focused more on a community college. So it's become more specific here, and this is the research question. it comes with the question, and it starts with the word does. Does the use of website. After reading a lot of the articles, finally the researcher decided to focus more for website technology. And then it comes here, this is the variable. Does the use of website technology in the classroom deter students from enrolling in the distance education classes? So this one is the focus more and become more specific. And this is the example of research question. Please pay attention that this is very different part from the topic, come to the research problem, come to the research purpose, and then come to the research questions. For the real one, you can go to the Creswell book, page 61, to see the example how to write that in a complete one. Now let's see how to select a problem to be investigated. First of all, it's my fill the gap or void of the existing literature. Second, if it replicates the past study, then it must be in a different participants and in different research sites. And then the third one is to extend the past research or probably use more rigorous research method to investigate the same topic more. And then the next one is to give the voice for the minority, for example, the people that not really hear, the voice of the people that are not really considered as an important people. If in a case of, let's say, in the world, for example, in America, probably, let's say, the black community, or let's say in Indonesia, probably that means the minority, let's say, the other certain community, for example, from religious people, but not the majority one. So this is the example of the worthy one to be investigated. The last one, a problem is worthy to be investigated when if it forms the practice, that means improve human's life. Now let's move to the differences of the research problem for quanti and quali. Research problem in quantitative approaches or in quantitative study, it tends to must be measurable. It can be measured, while in qualitative, it's looking for more of the views or perspective of the people. Next, it aims is to assess the impact of the variable and the outcomes, look for the cause and effect. But for the quali, it looks for the changes that happen in the process over a time. And then the next difference is if for quanti, it tests the theories or look for a broad explanation after which is actually it's a kind of hypothesis, test the hypothesis. But for quali, it's try to generate the theories or the main themes from the information gathered from the participants to understand, let's say, certain communities' perspective or experience. The last one is for quanti, it can be applied for the large numbers of the, let's say, people. In this case, is the population. But for the quali, it might only for a few people or certain site and cannot be generalized to the result cannot be generalized for large people. It's more a case study. So that's the differences between quanti and quali. Okay, now we come to the writing statement of the problem section. So usually this one is a part of introductory section in an article. in the first paragraph, and it usually starts with the topic, general one, and then come to the research problem, and then followed by the justification, why it's important, and then how the research fit or fill the gaps of the existing knowledge, and then the importance, how the audience get benefit from the research. So these are the part of the statement of the problem. And for the template, you can see page 71 from Creswell book and the example on page 73. Thank you. Have a great day.